All right, I'm live, day 15 of the challenge, and it's late, but I did make it before East Coast changes to tomorrow. So thanks everybody for being on. The topic today is still about forgiveness, but today's specific topic is around jealousy. So one of the things that I had to get over was comparison. Not so much I was jealous of somebody or someone, but more about comparing myself to other people, which ends up being the same thing as jealousy. Hello, Renee. Thanks for getting on. So anyway, jealousy and comparison, kind of the same thing. I heard a new term and it made me feel very old a few years ago with my great nieces when they started talking about being jealous as the same thing as jelly. They were so jelly of the other person, and I didn't really understand what that meant. But when I looked it up, it was around the jelly beans, the really bad tasting jelly beans that the jelly bellies that you can eat during a game that taste really awful. And what would jealousy taste like if you had to eat it? So I thought that was pretty cute. So the young girls now are talking about being jelly of other people. And I didn't really understand that, but it fits with this conversation. So just to let everybody know, I'm here in Seattle. I drove down today and I'm with two very old nursing friends at Allie's house, and they're here, and they might even be brave enough to come say hi. I don't know. We'll see. But we are here having some dinner, some late dinner, and it just made me, we were talking about friends and girlfriends and old friends in the car drive out here, and it made me think about some of the friends that come and go and some of the friends that stay. And hi, Angie. Yeah, it's fun to be back in Seattle. Nice weather you have, and also nice traffic these days. But it did make me think about why we stay connected to really old friends and why we let friends go. And a lot of it has to do with just changing and transitions, and whether or not you transition and change along together or not. And hi, Jackie. It's late again on the East Coast. Thanks for hanging in there. Anyway, it made me think about why it is that we let go of certain people, and I just think that we change and we grow, and it doesn't always work. And one of the things that I always realized that I stayed away from as I was growing up, and especially in high school and then in college, were what I have called in previous Facebooks being the mean girls. I had a really hard time. I usually hung out with the guys a lot more than I did the girls. I had a couple of really great girlfriends, but in general, I didn't like the comparison thing that happened as we were growing up. I didn't like worrying about whether I was skinny enough or had enough makeup on or had my hair right. I liked playing basketball and sports and didn't want to worry about what I looked like. But as I got older and was in the middle of big jobs with corporations and having to be presenting in front of people, I started to worry about that stuff more often and would get pretty stressed out about whether or not I had the right things to wear, and shopping became something that I did to kind of stamp down the fear, but I never had the right things to wear. And I think a lot of you commented on my article that I wrote about, showing up nothing to wear, being afraid that you didn't look right. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, was comparison and jealousy and what happens when we compare ourselves to other people, and what happens in your brain when you do that. So in my book, I had to go through a ritual of forgiving myself for jealousy and comparing myself to other people, because in the end it just slows you down, and it's not a kind thing to do either. So I try really hard not to do that anymore. I think we do that as women a lot. That's all I really had to say today. I am going to tell you how I ended all these topics around forgiveness, around jealousy. Yesterday was failure. The day before was, now I'm going to forget. Anyway, I did go through a ritual, and I'll talk about it at the very end when I go through all of the different topics, but today is comparison and jealousy. So what I'll leave you with is to think about that. Do you get stuck because you compare yourself to what somebody else has that you wish you had, or what somebody else looks like that you wish you looked like? Do you let yourself get stuck because you're comparing yourself to somebody else? And think about that, and I will talk to you tomorrow. So Thanks, everybody.